And I got in the car and I drove it, and I wasn't even driving fast, I just started smiling, and I said, this is why you've done it. My name is Briggs. I am the co-founder, along with my brother Neil, of BAC, and I'm the design director. My journey to BAC started on my father's shoulders probably when I was 3 years old, watching RAC Rally. Growing up around cars, going to Alton Park with Neil, my dad and my granddad, pack lunches from my nan and my mum, and just eat, live, sleep, breathe cars. We started designing the car in 2007. That's when we first put pen to paper. Clay model was 2008. So the journey over 10 years. Of course, we founded the business BAC after that. But it's been a long journey, and it certainly feels, there was a time, I remember launching the car, and I remember what it felt like. Our whole focus for 3.5 years had been to have a car, and to have a car on a show. And we'd not thought about even a moment beyond that, really. I mean, we took some orders from people that expressed interest, so we knew what was going to happen afterwards. But all the focus was on being at the show. And I remember we were at the show at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we were showing the press, and already at that moment the focus started to swing towards what's going to come next, and just a sense of, I felt a bit overwhelmed on how much was left to do. It felt like we were going to be at the top of the mountain, there was a little bit left to go, but we'd kind of crested a rise, and it's like, oh my God, that mountain's way bigger than the one we've just come up. And in reality, it is. And now I've come to terms with the fact that there isn't a top of the mountain. It just goes on and on and on. The challenge is every time we move into a new building or a new product, it doesn't stop there. I mean, there is no top to the mountain. But there is a sense when you look back down at how far we've come, the valley, you know, that's a long way away as well now. So rather than be daunted about what's ahead of us, I've come to terms with that. And I'm proud of how far we've come. I'm like a little kid in heart, so I spend half my day just imagining things that would be cool and nice, environments it'd be nice to walk into, experiences it'd be nice to have in a car, you know, with friends, whatever. I'm constantly creating a fantasy world of things, and so, you know, I was working as a designer alongside Neil in our previous business, and I just wondered where my life was going to go. And I thought to myself, what would I do if I didn't have to worry about earning money anymore? What would I do tomorrow? And of course you'd travel a little bit and you'd do a few bits and bobs, but ultimately I came back to, I'd create that car I've always imagined, I'd create that yacht I've always imagined, and the closer you can get to that is to create a business that does that, and that's the goal obviously, is a business that allows us within the studio to create innovative things, and I just love that process of imagining something being better and how you would do it and how it could be, and then solving some of the technical problems, and going from the point where, for example, you're driving the car and you notice that the back of your neck always gets cold, to developing a jacket where the back of it keeps your neck warm and it fits right and the pockets work in the right direction, and you've solved all those issues, and now it's a reality, and you know, I love that process, and that's why I became a designer. My first car, well, technically it was a Hillman Hunter. It used to be my granddad's car, and it was given to me as part of a deal for me to not buy a motorbike when I was 16. I was told I'd get a car when I was 17, so I got that, but it didn't last very long. In fact, it didn't even survive me learning to drive, if I remember correctly. I used to go out of the house in the middle of the night and go and meet friends in the forest on motorbikes. I never had a motorbike, but they did, so I'd ride. I went to school about 10 miles away from where I lived, so I had a long cycle ride to meet these guys who were messing about in the forest in the middle of the night, and then have to come back home and climb back on the garage roof and back through the bedroom window and be in my bed before the alarm went off for school, and then just be exhausted all day. Mum asking me, what's up with you? But that's all come out, so I'm not in trouble on that anymore. There's been loads, but I remember the Atlantic road trip, driving it in Norway, 3,000 kilometres in 4 days. It was exhausting at times, but utterly thrilling at others. I mean, just take your breath away scenery, prehistoric almost. I mean, of course you're on a road, so there is a witness of human beings, but aside from that road you're on, there's no electricity pylons, there's nothing. The whole landscape just looks like, I can imagine dinosaurs walking around here. It seems odd. You're somehow aware that there isn't anything, a little house on a hillside, or it's just nothing. And it's amazing thrill, and you don't see cars. You could drive an hour and you don't see another car. The way I'd have my mono, it's like that because that's our design department created it. It's exactly how I would have a mono. It was how mono was conceived in the first place, with the organic surfaces on the top and the technical dark surfaces below. I like the colour schemes we come up with for customers. I really enjoy the fact that every customer bespokes his car to be his. So I've nothing against those, and we've done some really good schemes, and there's some super striking cars. But for myself as a designer, I like the purity of that simple scheme without decoration, let's say. So that's exactly how I would have it. Guy Harvey? I've never heard of him.